Hi everybody. Today we're going to mix up all the conics and put them in general form. Your goal is to recognize them, and then of course once you recognize what it is, you'll know how to put it in standard form. So here's a good explanation of each one. You may already know all of this because I've kind of talked about it every single day. We are concerned with the letters that are squared, and the coefficients of those letters control what the shape is. So if A and C are the same, then we get a circle. It's like this. No letter squared, it's a straight line, right? So it's just nothing is squared. You square one letter, and all of a sudden, we bend it one way. We square one letter, it bends one way. You square both letters, and it bends two ways. So this is x squared and y squared. So then what controls what's happening when we bend these is if they're the same, then everything is pulled apart the same length away from the center. So that's how we get a circle. If they're not the same, but we're adding, they're both positive, right? We'd have to change them. If they're both negative, it's the same deal. Then they're pulling one direction a little bit more than possibly the other direction. Now, if we're subtracting or they have different signs, then the whole thing flips inside out and the curves point kind of opposite directions rather than opening up to each other. The parabola has only one letter squared because it only bends in one direction. So let's take a look. We're looking at x squared and y squared. There's a minus sign. They're not the same sign. Hyperbola. Hyperbola is the only one where the signs are not the same. -4, -4. Now, they're both negative, so we could make them both positive very easily by changing all the signs. So if the signs are the same and the numbers are the same, everything is the same, you get a circle. For here, number 3, we only have one letter squared, so it's a parabola. For this one, we only have one letter squared again, another parabola. Number 5, no letters are squared, so this is a line. And for number 6, squared, both positive, but their numbers are different, coefficients different, so this is an ellipse. So then once you know what it is, you have that blue formula paper that will tell you how to put it into standard form, or tells you what standard form looks like. So let's start from the very, very beginning and work through the whole problem. So we're going to figure out what we have, put it in standard form, and we're going to graph this thing. Now, I'm going to pick on parabolas because I know those are the ones that seem to give us the most problems. So here we have one letter squared. It's a parabola. Now, it's up to you to control what comes on the left and the right. Do you want all the squares on the left and everything else on the right? I use the fact that this is positive, and I don't really want to change that, so I'm going to keep the family of letters that has the square in it on the left-hand side of the equal sign, and then everything else is in the way, because I don't want to change that sign. I like the fact that it's negative. So then I'm going to add 4y to both sides, and I'm also going to subtract 9. Now, you complete the square, but you only complete the square on the side where you have a square. Might be the left side, might be the right side, but now we're going to complete the square. Half of 6 is 3, 3 squared is 9. We're going to add 9 to both sides. So now we have x minus 3 quantity squared equals 4y. Now remember, the goal is to have a number in front of the quantity squared. We've seen some where it was a fraction. We've seen some that haven't been fractions. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. And then, of course, that's going to make this a 1/4. So we're going to have 1/4 x minus 3 quantity squared equals y. And now we can graph this. So your vertex is opposite of the x value, opposite of the y value. So our vertex is at 3, 0. Now remember, you can solve for y, you can put it in the calculator. So you can put this thing in the calculator and get some points. Just as a real quick review, 1/4d is equal to 1/4, so d equals 1. Now, you're not asked about this because we don't need that to draw the graph, but I just wanted to sort of take a quick opportunity review there. So if you go to your calculator, you just get tons of points that you can graph. I'm lazy, so I'm going to go one to the left and one to the right, and that puts me up at 1/2 on those. Now again, the first thing you have to do is figure out what shape do you have. Well, we need both variables. That's the trick here. If you look at this, both variables are on the same side of the equal sign. This thing equals 0. That's the key. So before you can really determine what you have, we need to have this on the same side. So let's rearrange this a little bit. X squared minus 8x. Then we'd have plus y squared. And really the plus 11 can stay if we want to have it set equal to 0. So they're both a positive 1. This, of course, is a circle. I feel like we haven't done any graphing with circles since the day we did them, so that's why this one's on here. So we have x squared minus 8x. We're going to complete the square. Plus y squared. That is a perfect square, and the 11 gets kicked over to the other side. Half of 8 is 4. 4 squared is 16. Add that to both sides. X minus 4 quantity squared plus y squared equals 5. So your center is at 4, 0, and the radius is the square root of 5. So the square root of 5 is like a little bit more than 2. So a little bit more than 2 in your 4 directions that you can do that to, and then do your best to draw a circle. Homework's on the back, so try those out.